Formative Podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Mouse House Plus episode 49. I'm Hank.
And I'm John.
And we're your hosts. We're covering Moon Knight on Disney Plus. John, this was a doozy, so let's get into it.
Oh, let's.
We start out with a very strange glass breaking sequence, and then he puts the glass in his shoes and starts walking in them. I mean, personally, I don't do that first thing in the morning, but what were your thoughts?
Cringe-worthy, 100% cringe-worthy. I had to look it up to understand why, and I think it was a callback because the character that they're basing him off of, I guess he was a scientist, and one of his studies was the cancellation of pain. So that's I guess that's their call out right there.
Interesting. I like that. Different, but okay. So he's Arthur Harrow. We don't really get that in this episode, but that's the character he's portraying.
And Ethan Hawke does a great job of playing a creepy guy.
Yes, he does. Seems to be made for that role.
Yep.
Now our main character is tied to the bed. I said that because we weren't sure what name he was going to be going by at that moment. I wasn't anyway. And he is tied to that bed, and he's got to feed Gus while talking to his mom. How much do you think that we're going to learn about his mom over the course of these 6 episodes? Because I think there's nobody at the other end of that phone.
And I agree with you. I think that we're going to learn that it's a figment of his imagination, or it's all constructed to keep him sane to a degree, I guess.
I don't know if you should use that word in the sentence with his character or not, but that's debatable.
Okay.
He works at a gift shop in a museum, and apparently he has a date that he doesn't remember. It was like me in the 90s. I was like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that. But it's kind of funny how he was just playing along, trying to fill in the blanks and stuff. What I thought was a fail in this episode is I thought it was a failure that we really didn't get to understand everything that he knows and the writer knows about the character. The first episode to me should have been more of exploring, who are we dealing with and why are we dealing with this, and just set the table a little bit. But they did something, and I'll get to it a little later. They did a writing ploy that I personally don't care for that much, but we'll get to it when it comes up.
I mean, just from diving in a little bit this last for this episode, I mean, they say that that multiple personalities are supposed to be the broken up construct of the god. So this is supposed to be one of the aspects of it. So, but you're right. We don't know about that, but we also don't know exactly how this Egyptian god is going to be portrayed in this, because another article I read saying that, you look at the like Odin and Thor and how they're inside the Norse mythology, and they were just aliens showing up and they were worshipped. But in this case, this thing is acting like a god, and it has all the behavior of a god. So it's just curious, because this would be the first time that we're actually putting god-like characters into the Marvel universe.
Well, he wants to be a tour guide and tells his boss what's wrong with the display that is going on, but she doesn't care. Did you feel like that Donna was just over the top as far as just like a terrible human being?
Well, I don't think it's over the top. I just think that they made the perfect human being, and you made sure to hate her within the first, 5 minutes. And then when you see it later on, just to hit it home, they made sure that you definitely didn't like her.
Right. And I kind of almost thought that was too on the nose when it's, hey, big arrow pointing down on the screen. Don't like this character right here. See this one right here? Don't like him.
Now, I would like to have seen her. I mean, I know I'm fast forwarding towards the end, but I would have liked to seen her being part of whatever the other group is. Then that would have made it funny because then
Yes.
she's not only a jerk, but she's a bad guy.
I've gotta give it to you. Achievement unlocked. You.
I mean,
That's the first good one of the series right there. That's a good
think
one.
about it. You would really not feel bad if they killed her off.
Exactly. That's a good one. I like that. I hadn't even thought of that. Now, is Steven talking to a statue or a person playing a statue?
Person playing a statue. This is supposed to be a call out to something. This is an Easter egg, but unfortunately I did not understand the Easter egg. So I think it's more to a specific person. So again, everyone who's listening, this is a show that I actually know very limited. I mean, when I say very limited, I mean like nothing really, which is good because it's the first time we're going into something not knowing what to expect. But yeah, this was supposed to be a call out to something, but it kind of even shows the depressing nature of, you know, Steven with a V has basically tells his entire like story day by day to this, this guy that's, portraying the statue.
They call they call the other character Doctor Strange, but this Steven is legitimately strange.
With a V. No, hey, I need the badge to be like, V.
He puts painter's tape around the door and pours sand at the edge of the bed and such. And then he tethers himself to the bed, and now he's trying to stay awake. So why do you go to the bed if you're trying to stay awake?
I mean, maybe this is like the end result. He knows that sooner or later he's gonna fall asleep, so he just ends up there. But yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of the like audio like books to keep you awake. I know plenty of them that are trying to put you to sleep, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everything that he was doing, I'm sitting there looking at going like I would have been asleep already, like
Yeah.
way back then.
Yeah.
But and the other thing is I was upset because I was really hoping that he would at least solve one side of the Rubik's Cube.
Oh yeah, he was terrible, wasn't he?
I know. I mean, he like flipping through it like he knew what he was doing, and every time he tossed it up, it made me think, okay, well, he's getting a spot, an eye spot for where everything is, and then he would be able to solve it more. But he didn't end up solving anything. So
I wonder if that's a plot hole.
I know it's like
Maybe he was supposed to.
the things that John is upset with. Oh,
Not even one side. Come on, man.
yeah.
Do better. That's awesome.
Now
Now,
hold on. I got one thing.
Go
Did you
ahead.
notice that in the sand where he was pouring it back on, that when he got up originally in the morning, because after my second watch through, there was already the foot there, but he'd already filled it in. So either he's stepping in the exact same place over and over and
Yep.
over again, or Mark did exactly what he just did.
Interesting. Yes. Okay. That's going to be something I hope they unpack.
Yeah.
Now he wakes up with a dislocated jaw. I've had one of those. Still have it to this day, and
Ugh.
he is confused.
Wait, you're saying he's confused? I thought that's just normal him.
He is a strange cookie. Let's just say that. That's a different breed right there, man. More confused, I should have said probably, right?
Yes.
So that jaw was nasty. I was like, ooh, that's really bad.
Yeah. Listen, this show so far had nothing but cringeworthy things that you're just like, whoa, I know we're about to roll into more of it. So,
And then he hears that voice that wants him to surrender the body to Mark. So is that supposed to be that deity that
Yes.
is talking to him?
yes. Now, the only thing I don't understand with this is because he makes comments as in he's talking to like an audience or to other deities, or maybe he's talking that like, Mark can hear as well, but it doesn't make it sound like, because he's addressing the parasite Steve with a V, and trying to get Mark to come back, but how he's like talking, he's like, oh, the parasite's involved. Like, who is he saying that to?
Right, us.
Because if Mark is now out of the picture because Steven is in control, then would he actually be here? Well, I guess he would, because then we find out when he's trying to get the beetle. I don't know. Yeah, we'll find out. There's no way that they can leave that like untouched, because it makes too much doesn't make any sense at all.
Now he's being shot at, and he tries to duck inside this village and blend in. And oh, Mr. Glass Shoes himself, Arthur Harrow, shows up, and a man is going to be judged. So he's got the scale tattoo, weighted scale tattoos on his, judgment scale on his
Mm-hmm.
arm. And the guy comes up there and the scales start going back forth, back forth, back forth. So you're kind of in jeopardy here. And then he's a good guy, and you're like, oh yeah, he survived. And then the next woman isn't so lucky. That was disturbing. So I do know that we are going to find out Arthur's mission uh, very soon. Not in this episode, but we'll talk about it in future episodes. We're gonna find out his mission, and I can't wait till we can openly discuss that.
Well, there's an interesting thing here with this because he makes these comments about like saying that if his deity was there, we wouldn't have Hitler, wouldn't have like Nero, but doesn't bring up Thanos. So this is one of the first times in the MCU that the bigger picture of what just happened isn't being acknowledged, which is okay. I mean, it kind of makes it a little bit disconnected, but it's okay because clearly, we're not trying to hash up something like that.
Do we know when this is though, year wise?
No, and I've kept on passing all the websites that say, when does this take place or fall in line with the MCU. So,
Okay, I was just curious. So Stephen with a V is outed by Arthur because he speaks in a different language that everybody else understood, but Arthur did not, or that Stephen did not understand. And so when he fails to respond quick enough, it's like, it's him. Get him. I love this.
well, I mean, and here's the thing: had he actually been paying attention and not looking around, he might have actually been able to dodge down with everybody. But,
Yeah.
but honestly, yeah, that's your best giveaway. Do something, do a command that everyone else knows, and you're like, oh, yep, him, that guy.
So he wants him to return the scarab. And it's crazy how he can't give it back. It's so ridiculous, how that works.
I
I'm
like,
trying
yeah,
to give it to you.
he's peeling his finger, like, and that's the fun part. You're seeing how hard he's trying to peel it back, and then clearly Mark isn't letting that happen.
It was so silly, but funny all at the same time. So when they take it from him, we get that flash where he turns into Mark and kills him, and then turns back into Steven. And is this going to be our new meme, John, for this series? When he steals the cupcake van, is this the what was it, Bro Moving Company
Yeah.
from Hawkeye? Is this Trust
No,
a Bro? Is this that level? Can we meme this?
uh,
Can we do shirts or
we
no?
can
Not that.
we can if it's in the next episode. Then I'm totally on
Oh,
board with it. But we've only got it the one time though,
okay,
so I
okay.
don't know. But dude, this movie, I mean, sorry, this show is Momentum meets Final Destination because this car chase scene down the mountainside, I was like, ah. Yeah, some expletives came out of my mouth because what happens to these guys is just like,
Did you like when he got flipped off as he was driving?
yeah, and she's smiling.
She raised the old flagpole on him. Oh my gosh, that was so freaking funny. So he does more killing as Mark, and then he's Steven again. So I wish in this episode they would have explained when he can be Steven, when he can be Mark, and what are the rules and stuff like that. I wish we would have got some of that.
Well, I think that I don't actually really know if Steven is the primary character, and it should be Mark, and this is like a sub. But the problem is that Mark usually has the free reign, but the problem is every now and then Steven wakes up. So I think that's why we keep getting the flashes because clearly Mark's taking control. And when we get to the end, when he's like, we got to work together, you got to just relinquish, or we're not going to make it. And so it makes me feel that, he's part of it, but he's not like, he's definitely not the one that's in control.
No. And I wish we would have got more Mark this episode. We got glimpses and stuff, but that was kind of the character that I wanted to follow more so because we would have got filled in on some stuff, I believe.
Here's what I'm going to guess, and we can write this down, but I think that I wouldn't put it past him that the next episode is this first episode, except from Mark's perspective.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
So, like, basically we're having, like, Mark is, like, fighting all these bad guys, and then he basically, like, he's all of a sudden he comes back into consciousness, and he's in a van, and he's like, what now? And then whenever, like, he comes back again, he's like, where's the gun? Has to pick the gun back up, and like and like having conversations with the deity, basically being like, what, could you just stop him from doing stuff? But because that would be great, because you've got multiple days where he's gone, which completely has the next, when we're done with this scene, rolling into the next. But so there's at least 2 days where he's traveling to wherever he currently is to get the scarab. So,
right.
So yeah, what is he doing during all that time?
That's an interesting idea. I wonder if they'll do that.
The jaw. That means that he would have been Moon Knight, and then maybe he got the thing. And here's what I'm thinking: he jumps out and lands on his face. And then he basically knocks him unconscious, but it knocks Mark unconscious, which brings Steven back. Now Steven's not Moon Knight anymore and has a dislocated jaw because he jumped out the window to get away.
We buried the lead, though. He's got the wiper blades on. That was the...
he's spun around. But that's the thing, is like he's doing like 60 or 70 like backwards in that can't. Those things can't do that.
No. And what's the deal with the avalanche? Because you seem to understand that sequence better than I did when we
that was the logs. That was
Why did that happen though?
Because whenever he went around and the Final Destination took out that other car, it was falling over the edge. So they just basically came back around, and it was in the process of coming down.
Thank you, because I was just a little bit mixed up on that. I was like, what just happened?
Second viewing, I caught that because I was looking like, okay. Now, because the thing is, like, at first I just thought it was just debris.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking that, like, maybe the god played a role in it, but this would be like left over and see. And that's something that we could probably see. Like, then you get to see the stuff tumbling down as he's like looking up at it and driving away, knowing that it's going to like come back around again.
Okay. But that's what I was thinking when I saw it. I was like, oh, maybe he's controlling this from, some other aspect or something, trying to help.
Well, trying to, and then Steven with V keeps on coming back and, taking control, and he's like, oh, this is not working.
Gus had one fin yesterday, and now he has two fins. That's not possible. That's not right.
Yep, and that's when we find out that the it's been Sunday. He's in Sunday. Well, no, it's been a couple days, because whenever he goes to the pet store and they're like, look, I told you yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? If you can find a disabled pet store that is like, then go there and stop coming to me.
So he's 2 days late for his date. And that's a toughie one right there. I felt bad for him on that one, because I was like, oh man, he was so excited and stuff, because he thought it was Friday, but it's Sunday.
And when he's like, just give me a steak. What kind of steak? Yeah, the good part of steak.
Good one. He was like, well done. Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, no, he didn't even say that. They're like, how would you like that? Yeah, I'd like that. And I think he was just saying stuff in it, and he just said, well done, and he was just agreeing to it. Because if he is a vegan, then of course he doesn't, know all that.
True. That's a good point. Now he's talking to his mom again.
Mm-hmm. Leaving a message. Leaving a message, though.
A long message.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any machines that are that long.
Hey, later, Gator.
And then he eats the chocolate. I was like, I'm not mad at him. You paid good money for that chocolate. You might as well eat it.
Well, I'm disappointed that he didn't actually drop any in the fish tank, because after having that conversation with Gus, I really thought that was what was about to happen.
And Gus is an imposter. Did you know that?
Oh yeah,
And you know who he really is, though, don't you?
not Nemo.
Mephisto.
Ah! No, no,
It
no,
happened.
no applause. Oh my God.
It happened.
See, this
We-
everyone, this is what happens when he has control of all the sound effects. So that should be a
Oh, Gus is Mephisto. Calling it now. Oh my goodness, I love it.
It's either that or it's Agatha.
All along.
All
Is there
along.
any purple around there? Did we see any purple? Oh my goodness. So, did you find it believable that he finds this impromptu hidden stash with cell phone keys and a bunch of missed calls from Layla?
Actually, I kind of do, because when you're looking at the floor, like you could tell that it was trying to be covered up. And then so he's like, "What's this?" And then if you look further, and it goes to the carpet. And although I would say that Mark is being very sloppy, not shutting the panel all the way, because that was the giveaway right there. But again, what happens if he knows that he's about to come to? And he's like rushing to get things done and put things back and get the sand all done and put the tape on the door and make sure that it looks like he was sleeping this entire time. And then he wasn't able to actually secure it like he was supposed to. So, I mean, again, this is something that we would need to see on an episode of, Here's Mark.
Here's Mark. It's been months. Mark, why do you keep calling me that? And then he hears that voice saying Steven. And
that's
the
a
room
different
is
voice.
shaking. Yeah, and the room is shaking.
Mm-hmm.
So he bolts to the elevator and he sees a monster. And nope, it's just an old lady.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're doing a great job of giving you nightmare fuel.
Yeah, true. Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Now she is terrified because he is so weird. And she's like, she's expecting me, and she's on, what I mean? Like she's worried.
Now here, I have a thing about that. What happens if basically she was confronted Mark at some point in time, and Mark put her in her place or something like that? So now she's scared of him. He doesn't really know her. She knows him.
Yeah, good one. You're killing it today.
See, I'm
good
telling you, I
stuff,
was on this, man.
Good one.
Oh,
Man,
another yay!
Achievement unlocked. This guy's tearing it up. So she's scared of him. She bolts, and then he sees a monster. But then now he's on the bus.
Yep. Oh, I that was great. Oh, and then he still sees the monster while on the bus.
Yes, and Arthur's there as well. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is getting intense. But give us some answers as the time was kind of running out. I was like, oh man.
I'm telling you, there's no way that they can continue the show and not have an episode that's going to show from Mark's perspective. Because why would you not? I mean, what was the point of getting back on the bus or getting on the bus in the first place to go wherever? So that means that more than likely, Ethan Hawke's character, found him in some way or form, and he was escaping.
Right.
And now, then they switch over. So if we don't have that, and I keep on saying all this, I am going to be pissed, because it makes too much sense not to have.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. You're correct on that one. Now, at the museum, he sees Arthur and his followers. Would this have been a good time to reveal Donna if she were one of them?
Yes.
That would have been great. Then we could have been like, oh, I knew she was a jerk.
But it seemed like wasn't the girl that he had the date with, wasn't she there that had the badge on? I keep thinking it's her, but the thing is, it goes through the people so quickly that I haven't had a chance to pause it, because honestly, I just want to continue to the end, because it just gets crazier from there.
Yeah. Yes. It was really fast. Like, oh no, because he was kind of like surprised that it's you. You're like, you're one of them, he
Oh,
was kind of taken back. It felt like.
I do like the fact where he's like, I just thought it was an alibi, but nope, you really are Steven with a V that works at the gift shop.
Yeah, and he's like, he gives us that backstory, and then all Steven gets stuck on is Avatar. And
Yep.
I was like, quit, man. Oh man, he acted that so perfectly though, where he's just aloof.
Yep.
Now when he grabs him and the scales are wobbling, but they don't show us, and he's like, "There's chaos in you." And I was like, show us what it was doing. Like, show us specifically what it was, you know, if
Well,
the
and
scale just tipped upside down.
well, no, and I think that it doesn't settle because think about it. If he's got multiple personalities, then you can't judge one person. You
Steven is good.
yeah.
Mark's bad. So and so's good. So and so's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
the chaos in him. I'm telling you, man. I'm totally down with this. I'm locked in. I know what's going on.
So here's what I think is weird though. So we continue on, and now it's after inventory, and I was like, shouldn't that have been like the end of it for the episode, as far as like that situation? Shouldn't that have been like, oh, I really got to get out of here now?
Yeah, but I mean, the character that he's playing again, he's such aloof. I mean, where's he gonna go? Back to his,
True.
which by the way,
Tie
that was
him up.
something that I wanted to bring up. His apartment, by the way, his flat. I was like looking at that. I'm like, okay, well, first off, I thought that this was in Egypt. I didn't realize it was in England. In that case, and if it was in Egypt, that apartment kind of made a little bit more sense. Knowing that it's in England, I'm like, well, that place looks like crap. But being on a salary off of basically someone who's just a real selling stuff, he's a clerk, how's he paying for that?
Can we talk about that? Is in the comics, isn't Stephen Grant supposed to be rich? Isn't he supposed to be like the Marvel Batman?
No, because he not in that sense. He's a mercenary, so maybe he has money because he's a mercenary, but he's not like a rich millionaire.
No. Okay, because I
Okay,
know I know Mark Spector is the mercenary,
Yeah,
but I thought Stephen Grant was wealthy in the comics. I thought, but I could be totally wrong. I don't know. That's just going off of the old man brain.
All right. Well, I'm. That's what Google's for.
We are consulting the reference book.
It says Moon Knight is one of the wealthiest characters in the Marvel universe.
Okay, there we go.
But hold on, let me see where it
So
says.
that's why I was kind of taken back, because I was expecting something totally different than what we got. I'm not saying it was disappointed or anything. I'm just saying this was a different structure than what I thought we were going to get.
Well, I mean, according to this, it's like more or less that Mark Spector is a primary person. And so
Yes.
and if that's the case, then Steven wouldn't, how would he become the rich one?
I don't know.
But I mean,
But I always thought Stephen Grant was wealthy. Community members, please correct us.
Yep, fill us in.
Help me out here. We could talk about that some more next week. So after inventory, he hears a doggy. Here, doggy. Here, doggy, doggy. So he thinks. And then he's chased into the bathroom where Mark is in the mirror asking him for control.
Oh, hold on. Don't skip over this thing. This was nightmare fuel. You did not get to see this creature in full silhouette. It had white hair, glowing eyes, and clearly was a jackal of some sort, but like it was never it's like it's all the horror movies, like it's how you really get everyone. You never, like how they did Aliens, you never truly show the form of the creature, so you only get glimpses here and there, so you don't know really what it looks like. And in this case, like seriously, that was nightmare fuel. That was straight up like, I'm like, I was watching, I'm like, I wonder if I'm gonna have nightmares about this, because I totally can see that I could, considering the fact that I haven't been able to figure out exactly what it is.
Right. And then we waited all episode for him to turn into Moon Knight and finish that dog off. That's how we leave it.
Yeah, and I love it. That dog trying to escape out the bathroom and he's dragging it back in. I'm like, "Ugh." So yeah, this show has done nothing but basically make me like gasp and be like, oh my God.
Would you like me to go first on the rating? Because I think you liked it more than I did, so I don't want to. I'll let them be left on an upswing because I think you liked it more than me.
All right, go for it.
All right, so as some people know, some people don't, that I write, and what they did in this episode is storytelling by omission. So if I don't give you some of the information, you're left with obvious tons of questions. I can build suspense easier, but it's just because I've omitted everything you would technically need to know or you would usually know in order to get you to that point. And I'm not a fan of that. I thought they did a good job in this episode for what it was, but for me it was just an incomplete episode. And I get that that's the mechanism they're going to use just to build things up. I do have advanced knowledge of future episodes. I did not watch them, but I have friends who have watched the first 4 episodes. I have multiple friends who have watched the first 4 episodes. So I do have some advanced knowledge on that. So I will leave all that alone for right now. But I think as a standalone episode, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because you didn't tell me anything really. Like, you don't tell me why and when Steven's in control, how he maintains a schedule. I don't see the main character, which is show is called Moon Knight, until the end of the episode, and I really, as the viewer, want to know that stuff. I want to see that. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. What you giving it?
Oh, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's never going to be a 10 unless it's completely blown me away. A lot of what you said are have valid points, but I think that, considering that we have very structured groundwork for all the previous shows that we've seen, they're taking a different approach. And so far, I love the approach because it makes you. It isn't us basically like saying, oh, it's Mephisto just making stuff up, because we don't really know what's going on. And in this case, we truly don't. And they do that on purpose because it's supposed to be confusing. You're supposed to be seeing it from Steven's perspective, which doesn't make any sense to him, and it doesn't make any sense to us. Because you're supposed to be left completely confused and shocked whenever he just comes to and he's like, all of a sudden on a bus, or comes to and his jaw is dislocated. So again, if we don't see everything that transpired in episode 1 from Mark's perspective, which will help fill in exactly what it is that you're looking for, then I think that it's going to be a total missed opportunity and help the series out.
I like what you said. I just feel like they can do that through his acting. So the character can, act a certain way one time and then something different another, and you could show that range was still showing the audience what's going on.
Well, I think that we are going to get. I mean, we have to. There's no way that
Sure.
But leading into the fact that you're supposed to be confused, and it really works well for all the people who haven't seen Moon Knight, because then you really are confused right here.
John, anything else before we wrap this up? This is a lot of fun.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'm already sad that it's only going to be, we only have 5 more episodes, because I mean, so far I'm thrilled. This is good. This is so I'm excited because this is a character I knew nothing about, is not established in the MCU. There's nothing really leading into it, and so far you've got me hooked. All the other ones I came in because I already knew the characters.
Right. So we'll see how it continues to unfold as we go. But I have high hopes.
I do have one question. Who are your friends? How do we get to see 4 episodes in?
I hate to break it to you, but we could have seen the 4 episodes. We can always do that. I have cat out of bag. I have friends that work with Disney and I have access. I can get the actors. I can get all that stuff. I just don't like doing it because they're terrible interviews, and I don't always like knowing everything that's happened. Even though this time I do know what's happening, so it kind of sucks. But maybe in the future we'll do that. But I think it would taint the conversation
No,
if
you're
we
right.
both knew what was coming in 2, 3, and 4.
You're
I think
right, because part of the excitement is just me, you're just like starstruck and just all over the place over these episodes. So I mean,
right.
I get it. If anything, I just want to be able to have access to that too. But I get it. I understand.
And we can do that sometime. We can get that. I can make that happen. Not a problem. All right. Anything else, John?
Nope.
Well, that is gonna do it for this edition of Mouse House Plus. A lot of fun. But what did you guys think at home? Please hit us up, tpenetwork.com/feedback. If you can have your feedback in by Friday noon Eastern time, that'd be perfect. Give me enough time to get it into the episode. But for John, I'm Hank. Until the next time, we're signing off.
Later, Gator.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else